2020, I am going through all the best movies for every single year that I have been alive. And in the year 2020, I turned 30.
Will's doing it.
Yes, 2020, the year of the pandemic. And it was not the best year for movies, but some came out earlier. A lot were on streaming and things like that. You know, we're all at home. We couldn't leave. We couldn't do anything. It was a tough time. But anyway, here are some of my favorites. First up in 2020, we have Palm Springs. We have Andy Samberg bringing along Kristen Milinati into a time loop kind of Groundhog Day situation. They're in Palm Springs, so that's nice. But it's just, it's a Groundhog's Day kind of thing where it's every day is the same. They try to kill themselves to see if that stops it. They try to do all these different things. They live the same day over and over. It teaches them about themselves, about what they want, what they don't want with their lives. Big fan of Andy Samberg. Anytime he's in anything, I perk up and I want to check it out because he just does great in everything he is in. Next up, we have the mind-numbing Tenet. Christopher Nolan was pissed about this. Didn't come out in a full release. Obviously, it was pandemic, but he had a lot of beef with Warner Brothers and different things. And this was kind of pushed out on streaming and things like that. And it is hard to watch. It's not bad, the movie. It's just so complex that there's no one, and if you're saying you are, you're lying, that understood it on first watch and got every single thing that happened, and the moving back and forth in time, all this different stuff. It's it was interesting, but it was too heady of a concept for anyone to just get on casual viewing. Me and my wife watched it here at home and had to then immediately go into YouTube and say Tenet explained, because then it showed this person had diagrams, this person had things written out just to understand the movie. It's just and then once you understood, you're oh, okay, yeah, I got it, yeah, for sure. But that's not, you shouldn't need an instruction manual for a movie. I appreciate Christopher Nolan. He has such big, heady ideas, and a lot of them really are really pay off, but this one was just didn't really do it for me. Speaking of complex and heady ideas, next up, Pixar has Soul. This is one that came straight out to Disney Plus because of pandemic times, obviously. But this was a movie that's for kids, and even adults were just whoa, this is a heavy movie. You die. It really didn't show a full-on heaven. It showed a place you just are before you're born and then when you die, and all the regrets this person had and all this stuff. It's just oh my God, especially during 2020 when all of us, no one wanted to think about death. No one wanted to be sad. All me and my wife did all pandemic was watch Love Island and just shut our brains off. So this movie was very heady, very, very real, and just a little bit too much, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful movie. The way that it was made, everything about it was beautiful. The subject matter was very nice and beautiful, but just a lot to think about, especially in the year it came out. Just, too much. Next up, we have The Invisible Man, the remake of a classic, movie monster. Really interesting, kind of brought it up to the modern day. You have Elizabeth Moss, who's being kind of stalked by her, who she thought was dead husband, who was abusive and all this kind of stuff. And he's wearing this suit that pretty much makes him invisible. And some of the, when she's getting dragged by an invisible person, you can't see him, and it's really creepy. And I remember after you watch that movie, you just anytime there would be an empty kind of spot in the room, you'd look around and you're hello, you good? And they did a really, really interesting thing in this movie where it's Elizabeth Moss is in the scene, but they keep it really, really wide on purpose. So you, as you're watching the movie, is scanning every single corner of the frame, looking for any sort of movement or anything, because he may be there. He may be sitting in the chair right there, and you can't see him, and it really messes with you. But really, really well done. I liked how they took a spin on the Invisible Man and just didn't make him an actual invisible man. So it was very realistic and creepy as hell. On last in this list, we have a beautiful, beautiful movie, Minari. I think it was in the talk for Best Picture. I don't believe it won, but beautiful movie. Stephen Yeun killing it in everything he's in. Every time I see him on something, I'm I got to tune in because he's a part of it. Just a beautiful family movie about a family immigrating, trying to look for a better life to America, and it's just wholesome. It's one of those things you're watching. It's just absolute feel goods all the way through. such a well done film. 2020, shortened year, shortened list. Obviously we're out of things now. Looking back, it was crazy that this only happened a couple of years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but some of these movies are great. Obviously, we had to wait a little bit until a lot of people put things on hold until 2021, 2022, and then things started kind of coming out again. But still some great movies for the year. If you like this, I have a playlist going of all the videos I've made so far from 1990 all up to today. If you could please subscribe, I really appreciate it. Follow me on Letterboxd. I post on there all the time. Love that app. I absolutely love making these. I hope you enjoy watching them. Thanks so much. What was your favorite movie of 2020? See you later.